Hey, it's Spence from launchflows.com. In this example 3, I'm going to demonstrate a traditional step-by-step checkout process. This is where you have a primary product, then you take the user's billing and info for payment, then you allow them an order bump option, an upsell, a checkout, a post-checkout offer, one-click purchase, custom thank you pages, and much more. The setup on this is very easy with launch flows because you don't have to pre-configure all the various flows and steps. Instead, all you have to do is create the products, create a couple custom checkout pages, and then link everything together in the order that makes sense for you and your particular products or services. Let me show you how this works and how easy it is to set up on the back end. And now I want to also emphasize that these are actual true checkouts with the native WooCommerce rather than merely holding the cart open as is done with some other types of plugins in the WordPress environment. Let's see how this works. Here I'm going to start with my first product, which is, let's say, a supplement. When I choose to purchase it, I'm immediately going to ask the person to give me their billing. And in most cases with a product like this, I would ask for the shipping info. I just saved this here in the demo because it's a little extra. Now they can pay with any payment method they want, but if they give their credit card, it will allow the option for it to be saved and stored, which will be very convenient for the next steps. This option means that once they've done this the first time, everything thereafter can be one click to purchase. Now, once I'm done, we'll be taken to our order bump. The order bump gives them an opportunity to actually purchase an additional thing with the first product. In this case, if they don't choose the order bump, they're going to get something very special. So let's say we say no to the order bump. Here's where I'm going to be presented with a one-click checkout. Immediately the person is taken through, and then we're going to give them an upsell offer. Here's the receipt for the checkout of the original supplement product, and here is the after checkout or post checkout upsell offer. This has been asked of me many times in the Facebook group. Can you do this? And the answer is, of course you can. But the difference is this checkout is actually complete. It is not just holding the cart open. So if I decide to take this, we have the option, as I mentioned, to immediately get checked out just like we did before without the user having to intervene, add their credit card, or do anything else other than say yes. Once they're done with this, they're taken to a custom checkout page where they see the last thing that they purchased, but we also make it very convenient for them to review the other things that they just purchased. So if they wish, they can look at the items that were just purchased as part of the flow before. Now let's do this again, and this time we'll do it a little differently. Here we'll start with the original product, but instead, although again, I've already got my credit card in, I could add new credit card info here. I'll just go ahead and finish the new product, and this time I will take it up on the order bump. That way you can see what happens with a order bump plus an at the checkout set of other features, including a checkout offer and our sticky checkout feature. So here we've got an additional checkout offer. This is a bump to the original things that were in the cart. So if I click here, it's immediately added. Next, we have our sticky feature. This allows you to design any kind of layout you want, as well as obviously, as I'll show you, moving all the other checkout layout components around with Elementor. You'll notice how nicely that sticks and keeps it in focus. The particular buyer here can modify their information or even add a new payment info. But if not, they can go ahead and complete the order just like before and be taken to the custom thank you. Now, all of these give the option for you to customize. If you have WooCommerce Elementor Pro, you can use the dynamic information about the user. You can also add marketing automation. So any of the products that are purchased can give tags which allow us to customize which things are offered and in what order. When we look at the back end, we can go ahead and see that from this point, somebody can proceed on and do anything they want in the normal WooCommerce dashboard. Let me show you how we created it. It's really quite simple. With launch flows, you do not need to create all these custom flows and steps in advance. Instead, you merely need to create one or more checkout pages and then the products that you're going to sell. The products will all have the DNA to know what they're supposed to do. So let's first of all go ahead and choose a category here with example 3 to filter out the products involved in our checkout. First of all, what I've got is the main supplement product. Then I have that order bump, the original upsell product. Then I have the supplement checkout bump. That's the one you saw at the time you could add to the other ones while you're checking out. And then we had the post-checkout upsell product. I also have a validation. This is what we do when we're using Stripe so that the person can be saved as a customer. Now, even though Stripe requires $1 of charges to make that happen, you can very easily give this back to the person as a rebate on the original product. So it works out to be a net zero, but it's convenient to use this in order to ensure that you collect the person's email and their credit card information at the very first moment you can. This prevents you from losing them in the future. It also eliminates many of the problems or needs for a what you call an abandoned cart, because in this case, when you set up the product and take that information first, you can use your normal CRM or your marketing automation to follow up with somebody in the event that they don't get the tags that come from the expected product purchases. Now let's look at how we set up some of these products. They're basically all standard WooCommerce products, except we're using the launch flows features to make it possible to do what we're doing. First of all, we've set these up as simple products. And even though I wasn't showing the address, these are not virtual because I would like to probably ship them. I then go to the Launch Flows tab, and we can see that Launch Flows allows us to select the checkout page where this product will be sent to, as well as the thank you page that it'll go to after the checkout is done. So here you can see I've chosen from the dropdown the example 3 one-click checkout. That means that with this product, if I decide to add it to the cart, this is going to immediately check this product out without the person having to add their information again. And the reason for that is simply that, as you saw, I already got their billing and payment information on step 1, so I never had to get it again. Also, the supplement post-checkout upsell is that instead of sending them first to the real thank you, I'm sending them to the upsell product in order to be offered the additional post-checkout upsell. I want to show you the other products, and there's some slight differences here. When we're doing the other ones, and let's filter these again. When we're doing the other ones, they're pretty similar as far as the order bump and the checkout bump. But when we look at the other upsells, they're a little unique because what they use is our solo checkout capability. So here we've got the price, and then in Launch Flows, we've selected solo checkout. That means that these products can be and should be only purchased by themselves. Likewise, if you have already got a solo checkout product in your checkout at the time, it won't show another offer. This is a way for you to control what people see even without marketing automation. So for example, if you've got a regular product and you go to checkout, you can see the additional checkout offers. If you have something marked as a solo checkout, then it will be the exclusive thing that people see at the time of checkout, which again gives you some very clever options. You'll notice we're also using Instant Sales Page. This is a way we save you a lot of time and trouble when using Launch Flows. Since you already have a product that you have to set up in WooCommerce anyways, why not just simply make that into your sales page? Here we're using an Elementor template along with the Launch Flows widgets to create the links as well as the imagery we need in order to not have to make an additional sales page. So we can just borrow what's already here. Now let's look at the final one, which is kind of interesting. That is the post-checkout upsell. This one's set up like the other one, which is solo checkout instant sales page. But what I've done here is when I set up the Elementor layout, this is the one where I've used some of our Launch Flows special widgets. So on the left side, I am actually using this to display our last order widget component. This shows the last thing that was purchased before they were sent to this upsell offer after the checkout. Also, I made 2 other options here to give them the chance to one-click purchase this upsell or to say no thanks. And in this case, if they say no thanks, you'll notice that it just takes them on to the default thank you page. So in essence, and I would like you to play with these yourself, I'm simply daisy chaining the various products together in a logical way while telling the products what they should do if they hit the checkout or what should happen after the checkout. Now let's talk about those checkout pages. I only really need one checkout page for the whole site, but in this case, I oftentimes will, as here, make use of custom checkout pages. So if I filter these out by example 3, you'll see that I've got 2 custom checkout pages for this example. The first one is the original billing and payment. That's the one that I used to get the person's information before I actually sent them through to the rest of the options. You'll see here using launch flows that I put the normal WooCommerce checkout shortcode in place to let WooCommerce know this is an actual checkout, even though I'm only using it to get the billing and payment info. And then on the right side, I selected a custom template that I created in Elementor, and we can see what that looks like here. Here, I'm doing a clever trick with Elementor. I'm using the top section, and I've set the layout so that, well, it actually, in this case, not. In this case, I'm using just a 2-column layout. I'll show you that on the other page. The 2-column layout simply has the bare bones components I need. So I've got a title telling people what it does, and then I've used the Launch Flows drag and drop components. So I took the Launch Flows widget with the components, put it in place, and then I chose which things to show. So in this case, I've got the billing, I've got the login, which shows the normal WooCommerce login. I've got the notices, I've got the payment. And then I've got some other ones that I'm hiding down below, like the coupon code and the order review, because all I want to do is collect the information from the individual. I don't really actually want them to check out. But because Launch Flows gives me control over this, I can make it appear that this is just the ordinary step for providing your checkout information. Now let's look at the other checkout page. And we'll filter this out. And the other checkout page is the real checkout page. So let's go ahead and edit that. And we'll see again, I've got the WooCommerce checkout shortcode. I am using a custom template called example 3 checkout layout. And let's see what that looks like. And you can recognize this because this has the sticky checkout on the right, which is easily done by way of our simple syntax. So to make a checkout section sticky, just choose the section, go to advanced, and notice that all you need to do is add the CSS class name of sticky, and it will act just like you saw. Here I've got the order review. I've got a custom checkout button. The checkout button works simply by taking an ordinary Elementor button, placing it where you want, and then giving it the button ID of LF-checkout-button. Here I made a graphical image and I put in a link to add the extra checkout offer bump. I have my billing and shipping fields, my login, my notices, and then at the bottom, my payment methods. Here I'm using the Launch Flow Style Manager to add the custom look and feel to the various buttons and so forth, as well as the layout of the components. You'll notice I've also got a widget component from Launch Flows to hide the default WooCommerce button for checkout, because I'm instead using my custom button here. Now finally, let's look at one last special feature that I set up here, which was how I was able to do the one-click checkout. And the one-click checkout can be done any way you want. Here I made one called example 3 one-click checkout. And all you need to do for this is, like all checkout pages, add the WooCommerce checkout shortcode, create a custom checkout template in Elementor, and let's look at what's inside of that. Here is where I was originally going to say there's a trick in Elementor. When you add a section, you can go to the layout, and then for the height, choose Fit to Screen, and then align the content of the column and so forth to the top. I added a little bit of padding so as to push it away from the top. Now, what this does is it means that this entire section will fill the height of whatever browser someone's on, so all they'll see is this one Launch Flows component. And that's using our special Add Special Functions widget called Auto Click Checkout. That means that you can send some product to this page and it will automatically check it out without them having to do anything else. You just need to be sure to use this only after the person is already registered and logged in and given their payment information one time. You'll see if we scroll down, the rest of the checkout components that are normally supposed to be there are there, but nobody ever sees them because all they'll ever see is what's on the screen, which, as you saw in the demo, looks just like it's taking care of its own business. And that's really all there is to it. This gives you an example of how flexible you can really make launch flows. In addition to the standard example 1 and example 2 stuff, you can make something that has all kinds of an amazing upsell before, during, and after checkout, as well as order bumps, one-click checkouts, thank you pages, custom redirection, order review, and more. I hope this gets you inspired. Play around with these examples, make them your own, and then we'll see you on the launchflows.com site or in our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/launchflows. I'll see you on the next video.